On the line with us today is Brock St. Clair. Brock, how you doing?
Doing all right. How you guys doing? Thank you for having me on.
Hey, Brock, how's it going? Welcome to our podcast.
So Brock, for those of us that our listeners that are out there that maybe don't know who Brock is, he's
everybody knows who Brock
is. Let's just assume somebody doesn't know. It's an intro, Mark. That's what we call an intro.
All right, fine.
Brock is what we would call a Harley-Davidson freedom intern.
A rock star.
He has become a rock star. Maybe he was a rock star before.
Yeah.
But
Oh, stop.
well, so Brock, what the hell is a freedom intern?
So essentially, Harley-Davidson hosted this program over the summer where there were 8 Find Your Freedom interns, and we were all taught to ride a motorcycle. We were given a new 2018 Harley-Davidson, and over the summer we just toured the country. We did a lot of Harley-Davidson related and sponsored events. Like I stopped in at X Games and this great race called the Wild One in Castle Rock. I was at Sturgis, obviously, that's a staple. Just a whole bunch of fun, and the job, because there is a job, believe it or not, there's a job involved in it, was to document and share our experiences, which is a cool job. But, anyway, that's the actual deliverables part of it. It was incredible, completely life-changing, and I couldn't say enough amazing things about it.
So Brock, I watched pieces of your entry, your video. You had to submit a video to this to become a freedom intern. You really put yourself out there. How did that feel in producing that video?
It's funny you say that because I actually, in the past couple years, I've sort of tried to embrace that idea that to really just bare your soul in whatever you do, and that's not, it sounds like I'm freaking jerking myself off here, but it's true. I think that, especially with the internet, it's such a space where you can really be personal with people, because people understand that everyone else on the internet, social media, whatever, is just a person on a computer or at a phone or whatever. So I try to sort of embody that in whatever I do, and really just be. I think it's a unique opportunity to really be yourself and show your true colors.
Well, you certainly did. I think the reason that your video stuck out, at least for me, did you see it, Mark?
I did see it.
So he was real. It was entertaining, but he really it made me anxious watching it, because I can't see myself putting myself out. He literally put everything out on the table for the viewer.
When I was watching it, I hoped that you had watched it, because I think you could learn something from Brock. I mean, here's a guy that has kind of owned up to his own fears, which
right.
You won't. You are in denial about all your fears. You walk around in life like,
Mark.
I'm just saying, you should take a little advice from Brock.
Shut the fuck up, Mark.
You should live your dream the way he's dreaming.
Improv. You should do some improv. That's all it takes.
That's the key to success is improv?
Yeah, that's the key ingredient to getting out of your comfort zone. To do comedy. Be humiliated for a couple months, and then you'll be at one with it.
I don't really have that problem in necessarily being outside my comfort zone, but I would have a tough time being in front of a video camera like you did in order to submit that entry and know that the world was going to see that, and I appreciate that, and it's from my perspective, you should be commended not only for the video, but also, I love all the freedom interns. I love them all. I think they're all fantastic, but we have a special place in our heart for Brock, because I think everything that he produces is real time. There's not a lot of staging.
There was no editing. There was editing. But
there's a bunch of editing. He'd probably be pissed at you for saying that, because he spends a lot of time editing.
No, he does edit, but he leaves.
It looks like there isn't any at all, right?
He started his video off by deciding he had the wrong microphone. He left that in there. So I think the thing that makes Brock a rock star is that he's real, he's genuine, and I think that's what riding motorcycles is about. We're out there taking our chances. That's
thank you guys. I really appreciate that.
So, Brock, is it true that you were only riding a motorcycle for 3 weeks before you got on a Street Glide special?
Not even that long, actually. You know, it's a funny story because my first event was in Louisville, Kentucky, and I would love to give you a specific date on that, but quite frankly, it's still completely a blur, and I don't remember it. But it was towards the beginning of the summer, and I had never been on a bike before. Well, I've been on a bicycle. Never been on a motorcycle before riding academy. I took that as a 3 or 4 day class hosted by Harley, as you guys I'm sure are aware. And about, I think, 2 days after riding academy, so I've been officially on a bike for 2 days. I got my motorcycle license and I went straight back to my dealership, Southern Thunder, in South Haven, Mississippi, and picked out my bike, got my Street Glide. So I jumped straight from the Street 500 to the Street Glide, and the most terrifying ride of the entire summer was that ride home from the dealership back to my house with my new bike. Because, as I'm also sure you're all aware, and probably most people listening, there's a big weight difference between the Street 500 and the Street Glide. So that was something to get used to. But ultimately, I'm happy I got the one I did because I'm 6'6", and having that little extra bit of reach has been very handy.
I was going to say you are a self-described two-legged giraffe, I believe, is what you called yourself.
Yeah.
And so it seems like the Street 500 was probably a bit small for you. But
yeah, you know, I swallowed it up a little bit. It's funny because I'm not a big guy. I'm very long. But like
me too.
I'm tall vertically, but not width-wise. So it's kind of like a praying mantis if you see me on the street.
Brock, what advice do you have for people thinking about learning to ride? Maybe they don't know whether it's for them.
Well, my first advice would be at least learn. Because that was my thing, you know, is that I had never considered motorcycling before this internship, not because I was anti-motorcycles, but just because it wasn't even, I didn't even think about it, you know, like it wasn't a possibility in my brain that like, oh, I guess I could ride a motorcycle. So now I'm in this sphere where like I'm really pushing even friends and family to like, hey, you've got to try this out, at least give it a shot. Like it might not be for you and that's fine, but if I had to bet, you're probably going to love it. Because I knew I would like it, because I like riding bicycles, and I'm like, come on, motorized bicycle, it's going to be incredible. But I did not think I would love it as much as I do. It's definitely going to be a part of my life forever, and I'm trying to tell everyone I know about it, because it makes me really excited.
And you're going back, you're a senior, right? So you're going back to school.
Yeah, I'm actually on my campus right now.
Oh, you are? Okay. And now do you have like a new like stardom at back at school?
I don't think stardom is the word. It's been really cool because some people have been like, oh yeah, you're that guy. They did a story on towards the beginning of the summer. My school, like the PR department, which was very cool, and I got to reach out to them. I actually knew some of the people that worked in PR here already because I work for our television center here in Mississippi State. But anyway, so that was a cool experience. I had some people be like, "Oh yeah, you're the guy in the Harley. Like that's so cool." And I got to talk to them about the experience and all that. And full disclosure, very cool being the motorcycle kid on college campus. I'm gonna be honest. Zipping around campus on a brand new Harley, it's pretty much top tier cool. I think this is about as cool as I'll ever be. So I'm gonna be downhill from here.
Were you looking forward? Is that something you were looking forward to towards the end of the internship? That this was like rolling back into school with your with your laptop and your books?
Of course. I was like, I'm really gonna milk this year. Like this is peak cool.
So have you stayed in touch with the other interns?
Yeah, we actually have a group chat. Even our international interns, we have a WhatsApp, and we just still kind of really throughout a lot of the summer we would just send each other memes. And now that we're less busy, the meme sending is like definitely amped up. So that's been a blast.
What's an example? What's an example of one of your favorite memes that's come through?
Oh gosh, there's so many. I don't know if you guys are you guys familiar with cringe memes? This is getting really deep internet meta, so I'm sorry for people that are like tuned out of that.
Mark is going to pretend like he is. Mark's going to be like, oh yeah, I'm totally into cringe.
Cringe memes?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I practically invented them.
Okay,
yeah.
Tell us, Brock, because I don't know.
Yeah, it's like this genre of internet meme that's really designed to make you uncomfortable. So it'll be like somebody singing who's like really bad at singing, but they clearly don't know that, or somebody like talking themselves up, and it's really just it's like you looking back at videos of yourself from like the 7th grade when you had long black hair and bands and listened to like Evanescence and Escape the Fate, like that sort of thing.
I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we send a lot of that.
So John, it would be like a meme of you, trying to swing a golf club or anything that had to do with sports.
What?
That's a cringe meme.
Hey, Brock, I don't know that you follow our the Wilkins Harley-Davidson page or not, but did you notice? If you didn't, you should go on there and check it out. That we did a dodgeball tournament here. The staff, 18 of us competed, and I took Mark out early on in the game. While I did place 3rd out of 18, I think you were probably out like maybe 1st or 2nd. It was very early on.
That's not true. I pretty much lasted about as long as you did if you consider the fact that you cheated and you hit somebody in the head with a
shoulder
ball.
If you know dodgeball rules, above the shoulder, the person that threw the ball is out. I hit the person's shoulder. Brock, why don't you make a ruling on that? If you hit somebody in the shoulder when the rule says above shoulder.
The top of the shoulder.
Oh.
I gotta be honest, I don't know if I want to be dragged into this.
Okay.
You guys have got some serious things to work out.
And Brock has to get back to school.
What is it?
I said Brock has to get back to school eventually. I mean, he's during a break.
That's right. So
let's not waste the time on dodgeball, Mark.
Let's find out more about Brock and his fellow interns. So Brock, you had 7 other interns, is that right? 7?
Yeah.
So
5 other were in the U.S. and we had 2 international.
So who were they? And give us a 1-word description. Their first name and a description. What were they like?
Okay. So Tessa, her word would definitely be badass.
Badass. Yeah.
I love Tessa.
Word.
No question.
Yeah. She came from farming country, right?
Farming country.
Yeah. She's actually about 2 hours north of Milwaukee.
Okay.
Our headquarters is, so that was pretty cool. Then we had Megan Glova. She's super funny. She's also a recent college grad from North Carolina, from Raleigh. So she actually just recently ran home to Charlotte because, as you're probably aware, the hurricane is coming through. It's supposed to be horrible.
Oh yeah.
Megan was a big fan of you.
Yeah. Me and Megan get along well, and we had a great time. We went on a ride to New York and Boston. Tessa and I went on a ride out to Portland and Seattle. Then we had Alex from Florida. He's 25 and ex-cop, great guy. Han from China. He studied in Ohio.
We met Han. Han stopped into the dealership.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Great.
We loved him. He hung out here for the night, and we had dinner.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love Han. And then Emma from Long Beach, California. And then we have our internationals, Charlie from Cape Town, South Africa, and Tony from London. They're both phenomenal. I got to meet Tony 2 times because he came out to Milwaukee twice. But then Charlie, I only got to meet once, but I'm happy I did get to meet her because we were all in Milwaukee for the 115th this weekend before last.
So Brock, throughout this experience, I don't know whether you put the most miles on. It looked like you did, but you pretty damn close, if not the most. What about riding? I mean, because some of the interns maybe didn't ride nearly as much, but what was so when you said, hey, this riding is going to be part of my future? What about riding did you really enjoy? I mean, what was so nice about it?
I don't know if I could pinpoint it. Like I said, I think I knew I'd like it, but I really got bit with the bug early on, and I can't really describe why. It's one of those things, I think, and I think people who ride motorcycles can understand this, but it really is one of those things where you've got to get on the bike and do it, and then you're like, oh, that's what that is. The word freedom is used a lot for it, It's sort of a connection with the environment around you on the road or wherever you might be that you don't otherwise have in a car or any other kind of transport, really. But for me, it's hard to put a pin in it. But you get to know. I got the bug came early, and then I 15,000 summers, 15,000 miles this summer, which I think rounds out to like about 100 miles a day. And it was, it was incredible. And I'd still be doing it if I didn't have to come back to college.
When did you find yourself, like, how many miles into this did you find yourself really, starting to really relax and not be squeezing the grips on the handlebars?
Right. I think probably I had that first trip up to Louisville, and then from Louisville we went up to Milwaukee. And I think about at that point, that's when I met up with Tessa, and we went on our ride out to Portland, and that was a big, it was like 2,000 miles. I think that trip is really when I relaxed and got in the swing of things. But I think it changes per person, I never was necessarily uncomfortable on the bike, but definitely as far as my confidence level, I'd say that trip, it leveled off to a level that I was comfortable with.
So how did you feel about your experience in Riding Academy, Brock? That's something that we run here at the dealership. I'm a graduate myself. I found it fantastic. What did you find it, really propelled you? I mean, what about it? Tell us about your experience with Riding Academy.
I had a great time in Riding Academy. I think it's a really good way. Like I mentioned, I never would have thought about motorcycling before the internship, but if I had, I feel like I never would have thought you could learn how to ride one so fast. Because Riding Academy, the one I took at Southern Thunder was 4 days. I heard that some of them around the country, I don't know how long y'all's is, but some of them are 3 days.
Yeah, ours is 3.
But anyway, no, it was really cool. And then also to be able to just take that certificate straight to the DMV and like swap it in, like that's it. You might have to do a written test. So yeah, it was a great experience. And I made some cool friends in there as well. Very diverse crowd in Riding Academy, which I think is really cool. You meet all sorts of people when you're doing your class, and then once you're all out on the range, if there was any awkwardness, it all goes away because you're all in like, okay, pass the test mode.
Yeah, totally.
It's kind of like a college course, where you like lean on everybody else around you, just not because, you become friends because of your mutual need to pass this thing. So it was cool, very cool.
So Brock, tell us, last couple questions here from me is you've certainly, grown a real following of people that are looking every day on your Instagram posts, Facebook, etc. But Instagram post is don't Brock the boat, underscores in between those, right? But you've got a lot of direct messages, I'm sure. Any that are unique to you that kind of stand out that you thought, wow, that was really cool to receive a message from someone?
Yeah, so I've been making videos a long time. I taught myself how to edit when I was really young, probably younger than I should have been making videos on the internet. I don't think my parents knew that I was doing it, and that's why I got away with it. But I've always loved making videos, so I've always had some kind of presence on the internet, and some amount, even if that amount was like 3 people, of people watching, and that's been really cool. And over the course of this internship, I had a couple people, it wasn't even an isolated incident, which is so crazy to me, a couple people who've been watching my stuff. When I used to make gaming videos, I've done vlogs, I've dipped my toe in every little corner, right? And people who had watched all that old stuff reached out to me and were like, hey, I used to watch this many years ago, and
that's cool.
I had no idea you were on a new channel. Like, I saw you through the Harley-Davidson thing. I ride a motorcycle, and like we had this connection where it was like, some of them were like, thank you for the entertainment in my childhood, things like this. Like, it was really like hard-hitting stuff where it was like, it was very impactful for me, and to have that connection and that they found me again through the motorcycling thing was very cool.
That is cool.
So Brock, what are you studying in school?
I'm in broadcast communication.
Yeah, makes sense. So do you see yourself at some point as a figure in our broadcasting world, and if so, how would you describe that role ideally?
I really want to try and make it independently. I think if I could, either through YouTube or whatever, I think the internet's the best medium for it, but whatever medium it could be done through. I definitely just want to entertain. That's my favorite thing in the world. That's what I've discovered. And any way I can do that, I like making people laugh is my favorite thing in the entire world. capacity that I could entertain and make enough money to live would be ideal.
Sounds great. So are you still hosting the radio show?
I am, yes.
So is that a music-based show, or is it a talk humor show?
Well, so it's supposed to be a music show. I've been working at WMFV, is the name of our station, and I've been working there for nearly 3 years. It'll be 3 years at the end of this semester, so probably, I guess, 2.5. But we play music, and then I use all my voice breaks to either crack jokes or talk about something. There have been times in the past where I go on a tangent that lasts 5 to 10 minutes, which in radio time, 5 to 10 minutes is a very long time to talk. So, the boss comes in and is like, hey, that was really good. Don't do that again. Don't do it again. Cut that out. But no, I love it. And honestly, radio is a huge passion of mine. I feel like it's definitely moving more towards what you guys are doing, which is podcasting, internet radio, that sort of thing. I'm actually stewing on a few podcasting ideas right now. I think it's kind of corny because I feel like Let's Start a Podcast is sort of the Let's Start a Band of the 19th or the 21st century. But
what does that mean for us, Mark? What does that mean for us?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I mean, I feel that felt odd.
What do you mean? Like he was thinking that we were jumping on some bandwagon or something?
Yeah.
Really?
I thought up until that point, I was just like, man, this guy, he is going somewhere. I was thinking if I went ahead 5 years, 10 years from now, where Brock would be, he's going to be doing some really, really cool things. But then that one comment.
Well, he's young. He'll and when he hears this podcast, I believe it will change his mind.
I hope he cringes. Yeah,
he'll cringe.
That should be.
We're not editing that shit right
that's
there.
not going away.
That's staying right there.
I am not shooting on the podcast. It's one of those things that I feel like a lot of people talk about and don't do.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's one thing. But you guys are doing it.
So we should be looking for Brock's podcast. Really, you should be able to start this thing in the next week or two.
Yeah, we could be guests on his podcast. Well, we'll remind him about. We will remind Brock on his podcast that he initially pissed all over.
Just jumping on the bandwagon.
Right,
the podcast bandwagon.
Yeah.
Brock,
that's right.
We're running low on time. I know you're a busy guy. You got to go back to school. I just want to tell you, I admire everything, every single post, everything you've created. We can't like your stuff fast enough. And we're anybody that rides a motorcycle out there, young people, old people, people that follow on Instagram or something. Everybody's very proud of what you what you produce to get into the internship, but also inspiration behind riding motorcycles. I watched your podcasts and videos, and I know from someone that I enjoy riding, and I would ride every day, but there were certain days maybe that I was a little hesitant, and just for the weather or whatnot, and I thought, well, Brock's out there riding in the rain, and hopped on my bike, and that's pretty cool when you can inspire other people.
Oh yeah, man, that's great. Well, thank you guys so much. I can't tell you what it means to be on, and I really appreciate your time today.
We're looking forward to what you do in the future, Brock, so we'll be looking for all these different things and watching from afar and appreciating that.
Absolutely.
Hey, Brock, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Mark. Y'all have a good one, all right?
You too.
You too. Bye, Brock.